Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. 12 shot at party in Franklin Town. 12 people were shot and injured during a party in Franklin Town, East Kingston on Sunday night. They have all been admitted to hospital. Reporters understand that about 11:05 p.m., the party was being held at the intersection of Wellington Street, York Street, and Lacey Road in Franklin Town. It is reported that a barrage of gunshots were heard. When the shooting subsided, 12 persons were found suffering from gunshot wounds. They were taken to hospital where they were admitted in stable condition. Bloodletting continues in St. James. Western Jamaica accounts for 35% of murders so far this year, and St. James continues to be the hotbed for the gruesome act. It is reported that on Sunday, a man was fatally shot in the head in Montego Bay. According to the police, the man was sitting in a car along Duke Street about 9:40 p.m. when two men approached him on a motorcycle. They stopped beside him, then fired several shots into his head. The police were alerted and the man was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. The deceased has not yet been identified, however. Police have described him as having brown complexion, being about 5 feet 7 inches tall, and of medium build. At the time of his death, the man was wearing a blue nautical cap, blue sweater, blue jeans, and a pair of Reebok slippers. Prior to this, 44-year-old Gavin Coward, a vendor of Hendon in Glendavon, was shot and killed along Howard Crooks Boulevard in Montego Bay last Wednesday, April 6. In that incident, the police said they responded to calls from residents who said they heard what sounded like gunshots about 5:45 a.m. The police found Coward lying in a pool of blood. He had gunshot wounds to his upper body. Addressing a press conference last week, Commissioner of Police Major General Anthony Anderson revealed that the western belt of the island, which includes St. James, has accounted for 35% of murders committed across the island since the start of the year. Commander of Area 1 Police Division, Assistant Commissioner of Police ACP Clifford Chambers, has attributed the bulk of killing in the division to internal gang feuds. The Area 1 Police Division encompasses the parishes of St. James, Trelawney, Hanover, and Westmoreland. Woman hospitalized following St. Thomas crash. A woman has been hospitalized after the motor vehicle in which she was traveling collided with a truck along a section of the Southern Coastal Highway in St. Thomas. It is reported that sometime after 7 a.m. yesterday, the driver of a white Nissan AD wagon and his female passenger were traveling in a westerly direction towards Kingston. Upon reaching a section of the highway, the driver attempted to overtake a truck which was traveling directly in front of him. The driver of the Nissan reported lost control of the car, causing it to hit the truck before slamming into the median and coming to an halt in front of the large vehicle. The impact caused the female passenger to be trapped inside the car, and she had to be cut free with the assistance of a team from the St. Thomas Fire Brigade. She was taken to the Kingston Public Hospital for treatment. District Officer at the Yalas Fire Department, Delroy Williams, who was on the scene, encouraged motorists to be careful when utilizing the new roadway. Just over a week ago, traffic had to be diverted from the Southern Coastal Highway after a truck laden with sand overturned along the major thoroughfare. It was reported that the driver of the truck failed to navigate a corner and slammed into the median before capsizing. St. Anne protesters vow to keep blocking roads. The police are keeping a watchful eye on protesters who blocked the Brownstone Main Road from midnight on Sunday to call attention to what they say are deplorable roads. Lawmen said they were alerted to the impassable roads about 2:30 a.m. on Monday. They had managed to clear some of the debris and traffic is once again flowing. The protesters, including taxi and bus operators, who withdrew their services. One taxi driver, Wayne, told reporters that as a driver for 13 years, he is fed up with the road condition. When we don't have near accidents, we are damaging our vehicles badly. Every week we have to be under the vehicle doing repair work, and it is very costly. And then you have examiners coming out to see to it that our vehicles are in tip-top condition, which is totally impossible, and we're tired of it, he said. They have vowed to keep blocking the road until they hear of a plan to have the road fixed. Security guard slapped with assault charges. A 45-year-old security guard has been charged with multiple offenses including assault at common law, assault occasioning bodily harm, and illegal possession of firearm. Charge is Gawain Stedward of an Also Spring address in Trelawney. According to the Falmouth police, after using his gun to threaten a man, Gawain wielded the weapon, hitting the individual on his shoulder. He then punched the man several times all over his body before leaving the scene. The incident happened on Sunday, April 10, on Lower Parade Street in Trelawney. The injured man later filed a report with the police resulting in Gawain turning himself in. The accused victim subsequently identified his attacker in a lineup. Gawain's firearm was seized following his arrest and charge. Police-citizen relations need to improve, says Prime Minister. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says interactions between public and members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF need to improve. Speaking at the official groundbreaking ceremony for the new Little London police station in Westmoreland on Thursday, April 7, the Prime Minister said that despite the challenges, his government remains committed to transforming the JCF to be the people's force, the force for good, but says it is a difficult prospect in an undisciplined society that seeks to challenge the police at every turn. We have all seen the videos of the police in operation. Gunshots are firing, and people are running to where the police operators are, imperiling themselves and endangering the police as well, he noted. We have seen the operations of the police in difficult areas in heavily trafficked areas. The way in which the public interacts with the police in Jamaica has to change. Holness also emphasized that members of the JCF are held accountable when issues concerning them arise. We have to put in place a process that any death as a result of the police must be investigated, and the government has not in any way intervened or watered down the powers of INDECOM, the Independent Commission of Investigations, he pointed out. So there is a process of accountability, and I urge citizens to use the process. Don't put yourselves between the police and their jobs, because that is not going to help us in the long term in fighting crime. The criminals are not your friends. Hanging not solution to crime problems, says official. Program Director, Community Renewal Program, Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, Charles Clayton says, the answer to the nation's crime problem is definitely not the resumption of hanging. In fact, Clayton pointed out that there is no evidence of lower crime rates in countries that use capital punishment. There are some people who believe that all we need to do is to resume hanging and it will all stop. You don't even catch them, so how are you going to hang them? That's the problem, Clayton argued. He added, and the second thing is that there is no data around the world that suggests that those countries that have exercised capital punishment have a higher rate of success in terms of fewer violent incidents than those that don't. In fact, some of the most peaceful countries are those that do not include capital punishment in their menu of solutions. He was delivering the keynote address at the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce and Industries, MBCCI, inaugural security summit held at the Montego Bay Convention Center last week. Speaking ahead of Clayton, Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang said government needs all the stakeholders on board in the war against crime and promised that the administration will continue to improve the Jamaica Constabulary Force and expand its crime-fighting capacity by recruiting more officers to apprehend criminal elements. The government is committed to ensuring that we provide the police with resources. We had a 2-year gap because the budget had to be focused on the health issue COVID-19 for the past 24 months. We have maintained our policy. We are restoring that this year, and we are seeking to expand the police force to its appropriate size, the Security Minister stated. Clayton, who was in full support of the government's effort to strengthen the police force, also agreed that there was need for a societal response. There are many fronts on which we need to tackle it. On the one hand, the government is doing a lot of work in strengthening the police force and in strengthening the institutions to manage the situation, but that alone won't help, Clayton argued. What it really requires is what we have been talking about at the conference. You have heard it. it is a need for a societal response. He stressed the need for a corporate approach where agencies look at the communities and at the different areas in which there are gaps. You look at the fact that the governance structures don't work. You look at the fact that the societal systems don't work. The family structure, they are not there. Parental support is not there. How can parents support their children in the absence of financing? These are things that we have to look at. Parenting programs generally speaks to a theoretical framework that work when the resource is there. But you do have the framework to provide them with the assistance when those resources don't exist. What do you tell your parents? You need to point them in the agents of state that can provide support or to other mechanisms. But in a vacuum, they can't be good parents, the PIOJ official stated. He also said there is need for committee members to be connected with state agencies. We have this social environment that we have to relate to, and resources are scarce. And except we combine our resources, that social environment cannot be properly tackled. There are multi-dimensions to that. There are governance structures to be resolved, Clayton argued. He added, it is governance issues that lead to the formation of alternative governments within these communities where the state becomes marginal and the community itself finds its own solutions, finds its own justice mechanism, finds its own mechanism for social services, where community members become disconnected from agencies of the state. They don't know how to get their passport. They don't know how to get their TRN tax registration number. They don't know how to apply for a job. They don't know what health services will do for them because they have been divorced from all of this. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.